let's talk about Misyar marriages in general. So, this is actually a term I didn't really know until yesterday. Can you, is this something you grew up hearing about, or is this kind of a new thing, or what's the deal here?
Okay, so it is. There's a lot of things to talk about when we consider misyar. I must say I have not grew up hearing this term a lot, but I come from a society where I heard about Shia's Muta, right? And misyar is, if not similar, is kind of close to Muta.
Okay, so you're saying there's a Shia concept that is similar to that.
Okay, imagine someone doesn't watching the show doesn't know what Muta is.
Yeah,
Explain Muta.
right.
Muta is short-term marriage, like contract based marriage for say 1 to 3 days. It can be for hours, but of course, Muta is not just simply 2 hours sex permit, right? It comes with certain rules and regulations. It is practiced in Iran in modern day. Yes, it is practiced, but it has, of course, the legal proceedings to Muta. It's not a common practice, and the why in Sunni Islam it is not considered a common practice or not considered for a long, long time because it can be exploited, right? So let me go back and tell you why Muta was invented at first place, or introduced, I would say, not invented, introduced at first place. So the reason was that if you're a traveler or sojourner going somewhere else, and there is a chance that you will indulge yourself into extramarital activities outside with the woman that is not permissible. So God gave you a room or space because, of course, men and their shahwa, that's what they call the desire. So to calm your desire, that is a permit.
It's a much nicer word than lust. It sounds so much better.
You'll try to keep it within the boundaries of okay niceness. So yeah, with that you can get a permit and have a wife for a particular, and that's part of the agreement. It is mentioned in the agreement that this marriage going to hold for this much amount of period, right? Again, I do not know every single thing about muta, but this is what muta generally looks like. And then now coming back to Sunni Islam, the Sunni Islam version is misyar, if I'm not wrong. So misyar is kind of similar principle, but as growing up as a Sunni Muslim, I never heard of that. It is it's a modern modern thing that has been introduced by
The
these.
first place I ever saw this concept was in Rami season one.
Okay.
Right, the beginning of Rami season one, he's like out on a date with a girl, and they're doing some heavy petting and making out in the car, and she's like, she wants to. They want to have sex, but they're like, "Do we need to call the imam and have like a quickie marriage and a quickie?" Like, and I was like, I've never seen that before. So, I mean, I've heard obviously about it taking multiple wives, right? But not the
The permit one, right?
just going with like a 24-hour like turnaround, right? Like,
Yeah. Okay.
So it's really important at a moment like this that Muhammad Hijab is justifying Misyar marriages. He's actively encouraging them.
sure.
Right? That's indisputable. That's documentable at this point. But you cannot take that as a representation of all Islam.
Hmm.
There are lots of conscientious people who are categorically against this and see this kind of the way we would see this, right?
Yeah, and they have their arguments from Quran and from Hadith and from Islamic history as well. That in certain cases, as I mentioned, muta is was introduced for certain occasions, special occasions. It's not a day-to-day life thing. You just and the next day you're going to Leavenworth or you're going to California and you feel like you want to have a quick session, and then you go and find a girl and do a misyar, and that's how you do it. No, it wasn't. So it was mainly you going out to the war and you're spending there 5 to 6 months or a couple of years there. That's where. So that's Islamic justification, I would say.
And to be fair, if you're going to war in the Islamic justifications, you kind of don't need a temporary marriage for that kind of thing. But that is a topic for another day.
Yeah, right.
Because there is, back in Muhammad's time and early on, there is the concubine,
The concept of
right? The
concubine,
concept of
yes.
concubine as well. So in some ways, that does not exist in the modern Muslim world, really, does it?
Again, that there is a lot of history that we got to go through to understand this completely. But I would say, on the face of it, is if you're sent as a governor or you're sent as an official position holder to a remote place, say Khorasan, right, and you're far from your wife and kids, so you can have the luxury of having a marriage based on misyar, where you're just giving her nana nafka and then like taking her as temporary wife.
So these are the kind of things that are on the.
Why would you want more than? I'm sorry. I just
I have disagreements, bro.
I can't even imagine having more than one. That's
Me too.
yeah. It's, oof, man.
There are basically these things that are on the edges of the Islamic source material that are there, that some people embrace wholeheartedly, and other people kind of get the something off and don't practice
Mhm.
these things. So Sheikh Yasakari is somebody who's kind of come out against this and is speaking out against a general problem with men not taking responsibility and leaving a wake of damaged women behind them. And one thing, talking about this video that has come out, the woman speaking was talking about how it's like ruined her life and it's kind of broken her. And
Yeah,
these things.
and just to be clear, in the video, it goes more than just like she feels groomed, almost, right? Like that he pursued her and set her up for this, and kind of isolated her and kept her from other prospects, and you know, like kept her kind of like under his thumb
So this immediately
before they got married.
So this immediately makes me think of Hagar, actually, from the Bible, who, if you read the biblical account of this, this was not a good thing.
Right.
Sarah convinced Abraham to take her because she wasn't being able to have any kids. But then when Sarah has her own kids, she's jealous of Hagar and sends her into the wilderness with absolutely nothing. Hagar is a broken woman with a child on the edge of death. But that is where God met Hagar and gave her hope. So if you're a woman listening to this and you've gone through a misyar marriage or something similar, listen, your life does not have to be over. God loves you. He sees your pain. And perhaps it's in this time that he might reveal himself to you for real in the person of Jesus, because that is where God meets us. He transforms our lives and gives us a bright and beautiful future, which you can still have.